Annoys me is that, hey everybody, I just woke up and like it annoys me how people in my own family would call me a communist. Like, I'm not a communist, man. Like, I've never been a communist. Sure, I listen to Tupac Shakur, and yes, he was a communist. He was involved and he was probably brought up to be a communist. He was brought up with those ideologies of like, the Black Panthers and things like that. But I'm what you call a democratic socialist. That's a different ideology. And it annoys me that people think that I'm associated with that. Like, it's annoying because here's the thing. Back during the Vietnam War, when soldiers didn't want to fight in the military, they called them communists. And they were badasses. And even like during the Melee massacre, and I know a lot of them, they saw some horrific things in battle and everything, and I'm sure a lot of them didn't want to participate in that stuff. They were like, no, we're not gonna do your dirty work for you. This is bullshit. They're like, no. And it's stupid that people literally say that I'm an there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference of me wanting the government to pay for socialized healthcare and welfare and, a collective of things versus, where everything is tied to the government, meaning like if you own a business, say like, for example, you have a business and then all your taxes and all your money goes to the government. For example, I watched a video a long time ago, this really beautiful, wonderful girl in North Korea. And she had to be one of the nicest people. And everyone in the comments is like, we need to go save her. She's so sweet. And it's depressing as hell. It is so depressing because this girl is like the sweetest woman. She is like the kindest person. And it's like you feel so bad for her because she hasn't seen anybody in like 20 years. And she's standing there trying to sell like cookies or like teas or something, and the guy respectfully declines of buying anything. And I think he should have. Honestly, I think he should have just been nice and bought at least one thing. I think he eventually did, but I could be wrong. But just the look of disappointment in her face, like just that she hasn't seen anyone, and everyone's like, can we just like get her and get her in North Korea and bring her here? Like it's like I just feel so bad for her. She's this really beautiful North Korean woman and she's stuck there, and it's just that's what communism is. Like you're just deprived of everything from you, and you have to sell these things from your government and you can't say no, and all that money goes directly to the government. That's the difference. Democratic socialism is like, for example, like if you go outside and you are driving on the roadways, that's paid for by taxpayers. That's paid by our taxes. That's what democratic socialism is, dingus. That's why people annoy me so much. Like for example, like when I get money from the government, that's socialism. You're getting something back from the government. Like if I get my health care, when I get like government assistance, when I get food, when I get dental or medical or any of those things, that's what I mean by democratic socialism. Like I like democratic policies, but it does have tied with socialism. But I'm not a communist. I don't believe in communism. I don't like communism. I don't like where everything is tied to the government. I don't like where everyone makes $1 an hour. I don't like where everything is super cheap and then everyone's screwed by minimum wage. That's not sustainable. That's why I get really annoyed and frustrated when people call me a communist, like people in my family, because I'm not a fucking communist. I don't agree with communism. I don't like communism. because communism, I mean, that's what China is, that's what Vietnam is, that's what Laos is, that's what Cuba is, that's what there's only 5 countries that have communism: China, Cuba, Laos, North Korea, and trying to think of all the other countries. Alexa, what are the 5 countries that are communist? Vietnam. That's right. Vietnam, Laos. That's right. Vietnam, Laos, Cuba, and Vietnam and China. That's right. But then you go to places like Sweden, and I know they say they're not socialist, but they do have some socialistic democratic tendencies. You go to those countries and they do have socialized medicine. They do have welfare in their country, and they're a beautiful country. You go to that country, and what I love about their country is you don't lose your house when someone has cancer. It's the same thing with Canada. And yes, there have been problems with Canada's healthcare system where a lot of people have died with their healthcare, which is fucked up. I agree. And in Sweden, people actually don't mind. And I was watching a video recently in Sweden where people don't mind paying more money for their healthcare because of how much they get back. In Sweden, their kids literally have the best outcomes in life. I read that Sweden is the best country to raise a child. The best country. You know why? Less violence. That's why, less violence. They have a best education and less violence in their country. And the greatest part is they have that's what I mean by socialism. Like, people act like socialism is a bad thing. It's not. It's called democratic socialism, which is a different take on it. You're just spinning it to make it fit your narrative, to make it sound like it's worse than it is, and it's not. Because here's the thing: when you have a country like Sweden, you have your kid grow up in a country where he's allowed to go to school and he can come home and have delicious food, clean water, clean food, clean air, and he has a better outcome in life than he does in the United States. And he doesn't live in poverty like here in the United States. That's what's fucked up. And I wish that, these stupid conservatives would understand that. And it's weird. There's so many beautiful liberal policies they have in Sweden, but the one thing they're very conservative on is Mary Jane. For some weird reason, they got a hard on that. I don't know why. But even like they're still trying to use it for like services on like people with like cancer. But even then, it's very hard to even use it for that purpose. And it's like, I don't get Sweden, man. It's like they're so, like, all the other countries around them in Europe, they're so open-minded about Mary Jane, but Sweden, they're still very strict on it because of some fucking psychiatrist, and it's psychotic to me. It's like they got to get away from that. But other than that, it's a beautiful country and it's very open-minded. There's not a very much religious people. And the best part about Sweden is that it's the best country for women of maternity leave. They get maternity leave better than the United States. The other great thing about it is that even the father gets a month after, like, the mother comes home to have her baby. Guess what? The dad gets a month. And then they get sick leave, they get maternity leave, and here's the best part: they'll pay you to go to school. Yeah, that's what I love about Sweden. Let's say your child is struggling and they go, you know what? We're going to pay you, Timmy, $150 to go to school, to go to college. They don't do that here. And that's why I'm a democratic socialist, because I feel instead of whipping a kid, we should embrace the kid and go, here's something to help you grow. And it works. Oh yeah, and by the way, they were the first ones to do that. They're the first country to allow gay relations in their country since like the 1930s or 50s to allow gay relations. They were also the very first country to ban spanking in the 70s. That's right. While this country was basically showing it on TV and showing why spanking was good and how it wasn't actually helping the economy or our country whatsoever because of religion. And they're very atheist over there in Sweden, by the way. They actually made it a crime, a penalty. They put you in jail for it. It's actually illegal to spank a child in Sweden. And this, they started doing that in the 70s because they actually conclusively found that it actually finds no benefit to it. They actually found that it's actually does more harm to the child than good. And honestly, for people like me on the spectrum, we don't know what the fuck you're doing. Honestly, sincerely, like when I got whooped as a kid, I didn't understand why I was being whooped. And honestly, I just don't, I think it's barbaric. Like, why do you need to spank a child? Like, instead of just talking to them, there's no reason to do it anymore. Like, we should just be talking. Like, how hard is it that you're that bad of a parent that you can't just talk to them? You can't tell them what's going on with them. Like, you can't figure out what's wrong with little Timmy and figure out what's going on with him emotionally instead of just whipping him to death because that's how you were brought up because that's how bad their life was. It's like, look, I'm sorry that like people's lives were so shitty back in the past and you know you had cars that didn't have seat belts and you had horrible air and horrible pollution, but just because you were angry and frustrated does not mean you take it out on your own child. That's abuse. It is. And I don't give a fuck. I don't care. If people get mad at me or they yell at me or whatever, I don't give a shit. That's abuse. And I don't understand people who, like, if I had a child and say I, like, you know, like, if I ever had a child, right, and I would name him, I would probably name him Sayao maybe, or I don't know. I'd probably name him like a after like a football player after the Chargers. Probably I'd probably name him Sayao or something. But let's say he did something wrong. I would just talk to him. I'd just be like, "Hey, Sayao, what's been going on, little Sayao? What's been happening? Like, you know, I love you. You know, I care about you. And even if he came out as gay, even if he came out as transgender, whatever, you love him anyway. That's what you do as a fucking parent, you know? Sorry, I'm a little high. I took a Percocet. But I'm just saying, I would love my kid dearly and I wouldn't push him away. Like, that's a lot of these other parents, they hate their kid. Like, they don't want their kid to exist. Like, it breaks my heart because it's like, wow, so you don't want your kid to exist because he's gay, or you don't want him to exist because he's trans, or you like I had this fucking woman give me a bunch of shit and was teasing me. I don't even care if it was a joke or not. It's like it makes you look like a fucking moron. Like you literally said gay is a choice and then you said that Tesla is a choice. Like that sounds crazy to me. Like, look, I have autism. Okay? Like I didn't choose the reason I got so offended by it is because I didn't choose autism. You know, like I didn't wake up one day and go, gee, I want to have autism and have my life turned upside down and be annoying to my parents. Like I didn't want to, you know, be so picky with food. You know, I didn't want to have a learning disability so badly that I struggled with school till I was you know, till I was in high school. And then I got, you know, I had to do half days just so I could, you know, barely function. I barely graduated high school because that's how much I hated high school because I got teased all the time. And I have dyscalculia, which means dyscalculia is a form of like where you can't understand like basic arithmetic. That's the hardest part. And I was reading a lot of people who have autism, they have dyscalculia too. So, you know, and that's why I've got stuff like this in my room and I've got stuff like this in my room because it's like there's nothing more comforting than that. Because why not? Why not have lights in your room and have beautiful, like, and I've got a diffuser going with all, smells like lavender in here with like ocean breeze and a little bit of lemon. So it smells like France in here. And it's like, and I can think of my friend Gaylord who passed away. And it's like, and I'm a huge Chargers fan. It's like, the world can be so bleak sometimes, but like, that's my point. Like, why the hell would I ever want to choose to be that? And I just, when that woman from Texas or whatever said that, I'm like, I don't care if it was a joke or not. It's just when you say stupid shit like that, it makes me want to unfollow you and it makes me not want to be around you. It's like, I don't understand people who say stupid shit like that. It's so like, do people ever think like, I mean, it's so childish. And the dumbest thing too that really pisses me off more than anything is that you're a mother. You're a mother, you have kids, you've got a husband, you're showing your big old titty on the right side with all tattoos, right? It's like, you're a gorgeous woman, right? You have it all. You're a gorgeous woman doing OF shit. You're beautiful. You have it all. You could do whatever you want in society. You can, do things and make money. We get it. But it's like, how embarrassing is it for your children to grow up in a world knowing that your mom thinks like that and is that fucking stupid? Like, how embarrassing is that? And even if it was a joke, even if you were joking, how fucking embarrassing is that for your legacy, for your family to see that shit? How embarrassing is that for your kids to grow up and go, wow, my mom really made a stupid joke saying gay isn't a choice, but a Tesla is a choice, and made a stupid video of her spreading her legs full open spread eagle and showing her big titties on Instagram. Like, how embarrassing is that? And you're a fucking mother. Like, I was thinking about that yesterday when she bullied me and like fucking was teasing me constantly and putting words in my mouth, saying that I was calling gay people disabled. That's not what I fucking said, you dumb, ignorant twat. I basically said that I have autism and I didn't choose to have a disability, just like gay people wake up every morning like I do and they do not choose to be gay. I was just saying I feel how they feel because they don't choose it. I was just saying how I understand what it's like to, it's like, do you not understand what I'm saying, you dumb idiot? It's what? You twat. That's in your mouth. There's nothing worse than when an ignorant twat puts words in your mouth, and it pisses me off. That's why I blocked her. And I don't recommend anyone following Texas TX Marie Reed or whatever the fuck her name is. It's so ignorance. It just, and look, I'm still pissed off from it from yesterday. I'm still pissed off by that dumb shit. It's like, it's so ignorant and juvenile. It's like, I have gay friends. You know what I mean? And yes, and to a degree, yes, there are gay disabled people. There are gay people wheelchairs. I actually knew one in high school. I did. He was black and he was gay and he was in a wheelchair. And you know what he called himself? A triple threat. He did. He did. He called himself a triple threat because he said that that was the best way to meet guys, because he was black, gay, in a wheelchair. And he said that was the best way to meet guys because he's like, how often does that happen? That's what he told me. And I know him from high school. So, you know, and he used to make jokes. I remember he used to make jokes about Charlie Kirk, like, hey, at least I'm in a wheelchair. He just got hit in the neck, so he's gone. So it's like, he's, he's like, at least I'm alive and I could wheel myself out. He can't even wheel himself out. Someone has to do it for him. And I was like, oh, that's harsh. So that's my point. Like, that woman's a fucking idiot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have gay friends. I have a gay, He's not my friend, but I know a gay black guy in a wheelchair who is disabled. So for her to think that I would make fun of them is fucking stupid. And I hate people like that put words in your mouth and they're childish and they think it's funny. And it's like, you know what? If you've got children and you've got a husband and you're doing that and you're an OF model, go fuck yourself. Get a life. Because you just lost a fan. And I thought she was attractive too. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, I found a few of her videos. I found them pretty entertaining. I'll just stick to Amber Tan, man. I love Amber Tan. She's one of my favorites. I'll just stick to her because she doesn't do stupid shit like that, man. She's just a goddess and she doesn't say or do dumb shit. Stick to your favorites, man.